Okay, so next question is about we are going to discuss whether the PED is important for the government or not. Okay, so similar with the questions before we've been discussed. Of course, we have to talk about the why it is important part first. Okay, so the first part is about the first reason is because it could provide an accurate estimation of the tax to be imposed. So here is the diagram that shows that there is an elastic demand curve, and the government want to cut the amount of consumers from 10 million to 5 million by half. Okay, so when they want to cut this amount, they may want to impose a tax. So you can see they impose this amount of tax, then they are able to cut their customer from 10 to 5 million. But what if they have wrongly estimate their elasticity of demand, and actually the demand is actually like this. Okay, so you can see if the demand is the yellow line, which is more inelastic, then actually the tax is less efficient. You can see that the new equilibrium will be somewhere here, and although the price rise a lot, but the quantity is not able to reach the government goals. They are not able to cut to 5, maybe it is somewhere like 8 or 9, something like this. So that means it is very important for the government to know the PED before they impose the tax, especially for the demand goods like the cigarettes, because the cigarettes have the very inelastic demand curve, and that makes the government has to impose a very high tax rate. So for example, the tax rate in Hong Kong for cigarettes is roughly around 70%. And that makes the government okay, so why the government have to impose this amount of tax rate? The reason behind may because the cigarettes have a very inelastic demand curve, but did this actually reach the government goals? We have no idea. Okay, but having the accurate estimation of the PED could help the government to set a correct tax amount. So similarly, so we have accurate estimation of subsidies to be provided if we have the accurate amount of PED. So if the PED is more, like the PED is elastic, we can see what happened here. Okay, so you can see that when the demand is elastic, then actually providing the subsidy could greatly increase the quantity. But what if the demand is not elastic and it is shaped like this? So what happened here is the new equilibrium will be somewhere here, and it will become not that effective. Okay, so the question is, when the government is trying to provide the subsidies to the electric cars, it is pretty important for them to not to provide too much subsidies. Although the electric cars is actually better than the normal cars because they will create less pollution, but still the existence of them will still cause their traffic. So if the government provide too much subsidy for them, then actually the quantity of the electric cars on the road will be too much. Okay, so it is also important for the firms. I'm sorry, I just missed it. Okay, it is important for the government to know the exact amount of PED before they provide the subsidies. Okay,